everyone. I am now going to do my favourite film. Not just my favourite Tim Burton film, but my favourite film of all time. And I think I only need to explain this with one household item.
Well, how do I explain the first time that I saw this? Okay, it was, in fact, I remember the exact date. It was the 10th of October 2009 at 7:45 in the evening. and yeah, my teacher, like, I was going through, let's just say, a very bad stage. I'm not even gonna go there. It was pretty bad. And I was like locking myself in my room at boarding school, and one weekend, my teacher knocked on the door because every Saturday night we would have we would either go to the cinema, or they would have like they would show like a classic movie in the theater, in our theater. So it was pretty much like a cinema, but anyway. And my teacher, she came over and she was like, do you know what? I really think that you should watch this movie. And I was like, well, what's it called? And she was like, Edward Scissorhands. And I thought, I'm sorry, what is it called again? And I was just like, okay, that sounds bizarre and weird. But she was like, oh, I think you'll like this. And so I was like, oh, fine. So I was in like a foul mood, as I always was. So I came down, and then the credits rolled and everything, and I was like, oh, it sounds really nice, and I think it's going to be quite different from what I thought. And then came the moment where you see Edward for the first time, and I think I don't know how to explain it. It was like, my expression when I saw him was like the scene where Kim stares at him on the TV. Yep, that's the one. And throughout the rest of the movie, it just kept getting better and better and better, and oh my god, it was I don't know how to explain my experience. And then I just came back to my room, went to bed, and like I was just like going through my mind like, what did I just witness? And it was just I don't I it's really hard to put into words. And even as I filmed this particular shot, yes, I was watching the film, but it's really hard to kind of recapture what I felt like, but this is as close as you can get. But anyway, but yeah, that was my first experience, and it was, well, just a life-changing moment, like lightning had struck my head. Edward Scissorhands originally came from a drawing that Tim did as a teenager, and the best way to start this off is to, well, let's look at the original source. Give me time. Okay, here it is, and there's a couple more on the next page, but anyway, I mean, anyone who owns the book, obviously you can look at it yourself, or go look at the pictures online, especially as this shot is not very good. But I remember the first time I heard that, once I saw Edward Scissorhands, I thought, okay, who created this character? That's who I was really interested in. Who came up with the idea of Edward Scissorhands? And I found out that not only was it the director, but it was actually, that's where I was introduced to his art, and the way I found out about his other most, passion in his life, which is drawing. And seeing the drawings of Edward Scissorhands just completely opened my eyes again to this amazing world of Tim Burton. If you just look at, you just look at those eyes, and you can immediately see
sort of yearning to be part of something, but that kind of knowledge as though you can never be, and that sort of, I mean, oh, I'm not explaining it very well, I mean, but I think from the fact that it came from his subconscious as a teenager, I think just made it much more personal, and I think that's why a lot of young people really respond to the work. Well, actually, you know, I think that's why a lot of people connect to his work, because, you know, particularly Edward Scissorhands, because everyone at one point in their life knows what it's like to be alone. You know, sometimes they do feel misunderstood. Some people do feel it more than others, myself included, but, you know, but anyway, I'm going to get to some behind-the-scenes knowledge of Edward Scissorhands. So now I'm going to pass the trivia to Tash on this amazing film.
Tim tried to persuade Warner Brothers and so made a deal saying, "Which one do you want, Hollywood on Parade or Edward Scissorhands?" They preferred Hollywood, and therefore Tim went to 20th Century Fox.
Never even made Hollywood on Parade, but the deal with 20th Century Fox was not normally how films are sort of green-lighted. They just handed them the script and said, "This is the movie, this is the budget, yes or no?" And thankfully they said yes.
Stars such as Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, Robert Downey Jr. and Michael Jackson wanted to play the role of Edward. In all fairness, I can see Michael Jackson doing that role.
Yeah.
I just really don't want to.
Yes, Johnny was the right role in the end.
This is the last role for Tim's idol Vincent Price before his death in 1993.
And if anyone is interested in the short film Vincent, which is the first short film that Tim ever made, go check it out on YouTube. Vincent Price narrates it beautifully, and well, just see any of Vincent Price's films.
Anything he's in is just gold.
My personal favourite would have to be House of Wax, though, so if you want to introduce it, go watch that.
Tim feels that Bill, played by Alan Arkin, is the scariest character looking back on his Burbank days.
I kind of see that, because I'm like having images of the barbecue scene and the dinner scenes, and if any of you are confused, Bill is Kim's dad. I can kind of see why he would be scary. Yeah.
On the lesser side of things, Johnny Depp threw up from eating all the salads from the barbecue and then passed out while running away from the police.
Because he was so hot in that suit, which by the way, I don't really blame him, and like, because he had to wear that, plus they were filming in Florida, so... And he also accidentally cut a few people, including himself, and so Tim didn't know if some of the scars were real or actual makeup. Poor guy. You know, reading through these biographies, I came across a couple of reviews for Edward Scissorhands. Most of it was kind of mixed, but most of it was very, very positive. Not only that, but eventually it did become a bit of a success worldwide. Right, so the Rolling Stones magazine said that Edward Scissorhands isn't perfect, it's something better. Pure magic. And yeah, oh god, it's one of those films that is just so hard to talk about that, you know, it's so good that you can't, like, put it in words. You, like, just have to go and see it to know what I'm talking about. And also from the fact that it's my favorite movie, you know, it's hard. I thought I would have loads to talk about, and I do, but it's kind of hard to put it out into words because it's like I can't explain it very well. I remembered a while ago I decided to do a commentary on Edward Scissorhands, and even then, like, I was just kind of just mostly like watching a movie instead. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be speaking. Whoops. Yeah, because it was just too good, and I didn't really know what to say. I mean, you just let the movie speak for itself, and but I'll try my very best to try and talk about it. But yeah, if I make no sense, it's one of those. It's just so good. You just have to see it, no matter who you are, no matter what film you're interested in. Just watch it the one time. It's just so good. Okay, so all right, let's okay. First of all, great idea from the fact that Edward is a creation, but he's an unfinished creation. Like, I remember, like, the first time I watched it, like, and I heard that, and I was kind of like, wait, it was, like, slowly getting my interest, and I was like, I'm already into it, like, really into it, and, you know, again, it's amazing how, like, you know, it started out as a sketch from Tim's teenager days, and then suddenly becomes a you know, a live action character, and it's great, and you're sort of thinking. So, you know, again, I was sort of thinking, how do they do a guy with scissors? How do they do that? But you know, you're absolutely impressed. But so let's start with Johnny Depp's performance. I still think it is one of his best. Absolutely, it's right up there, and I think it's just because, like, you knew that. You know, he always says that it's probably like his most personal role he's ever done, which doesn't shock me at all. You know, and you could totally tell that he's really putting his heart and soul into this performance, and you know, it's like it's just so good. I can't explain it. And again, like, he doesn't say much, but yet so much comes through, and you're just, yeah, it's just and there's and you know, I love the idea that, you know, like, we actually see him, like, creating a lot, and so, you know, because you immediately think Scissors are like, oh, okay, you know, that's gonna, like, destroy everything, but no, you actually see him, like, creating some things, and, like, obviously this leads to the famous snow scene, which is probably the price of admission alone, so, you know, and the rest of the film is just brilliant. So I like the fact that they did both creating and destructing, and actually that's pretty much human beings, really. Okay, what else can I say? There's a lot, I see a lot of symbolism in this movie. Just little touches here and there, just so beautiful, it's so beautiful. Let's have a look. Okay, I'm gonna go on to other characters. I'm not explaining it well, it's just, you have to watch it! Okay, we have Winona Ryder as Kim, and a lot of people always look at her and think, oh my god, she's just the love interest, that is it. No, I even the first time I saw it, I was like, okay, this is probably where they're going with this, but at the same time, like, I really saw, like, a character there with the fact that, I liked the fact that she wasn't really likable when you, like, meet her for the first time, like, properly meet her for the first time. She's kind of, you know, sort of looks at everyone and is like, I don't want anything to do with you, and you know, sort of that kind of idea of the fact that, you know, she's a cheerleader and she obviously hangs out with popular kids, and so that kind of sort of maintaining that popular image. And so, and what I love is the fact that she, like, she slowly changes throughout the film, and she becomes a lot more responsible, a lot more grown up, and, you know, like, while all the other neighbors want him dead, you know, and, you know, like, I think the only really mature characters in this, well, mature characters, like responsible characters as far as sporting cast goes, is Kim and Peg, and they're both kind of like, just leave him alone, please, and you know, it's, yeah, it's great. And so for me, like, Kim is really the character that changes and, like, learns through Edward, and therefore, I'm gonna give, like, a major spoiler if you haven't seen it, so I won't dare give away that. But anyway, like, there's a reason why something happens in the movie, you know, because she's the character that goes through that change. So, you know, there you go. And then let's move on to Peg then. Peg, it's kind of personal to me because Peg always reminds me of my nanny, my grandma, because well, she kind of looks like her. Like, I remember, like, seeing a younger photo of my nanny, and, like, yeah, she kind of looks like her. She kind of looks like Diane Wiest, weird, like, with the glasses on and everything, and funnily enough, my nanny was an actual Avon lady. That's pretty much, like, the only job that she had, so it's weird. But, you know, I think that she's pretty much like the character of Peg, so I don't know if that's spooky or anything, but what I love about Peg, and Diane does, like, a really great job of it, is that the fact that, you know, she's like trying to change Edward's appearance, but at the same time she's sort of, you know, it's not in like a sort of mean-spirited way. She's like, no, I'm just doing this because I don't want to see you get hurt because of everyone else's opinions. And she's such a carer, and I think Tim describes her as a guardian angel, not just the character, but also the actress, because once she read the script and signed on, like a lot of other people came for the roles, and so she really kind of launched it as far as the casting went, so that's really good. And yeah, and again, like, you really see that she really does care for him, and, you know, like, even like without thinking about it, you know, she kind of goes, yeah, just live with me, just live with me. And then obviously as things get worse and worse, like, she's sort of thinking, you know, like, I should have really thought about this, but at the same time, you know, it's kind of like, well, if I was in that situation, I would want to take him home too, you know? It's like, because he looks so helpless, and like, oh, you know, so anyway. Okay, so let's move on to other characters. You know, the neighbors, I really love the fact that, you know, they're kind of, they're kind of horrible, but they're kind of told in like a really funny way. You know, they are judgmental, you know, and everything, and they have other issues as well. And they're also really weird, but at the same time, they play them off as, like, really funny. Like, you sort of, it's kind of, you sort of laugh at them because it's true. It's kind of like the neighbors from The Middle. You know, it's kind of like that, you know, it's funny. Speaking of the neighbors, oh, wait, before I get to that, one character that I want to mention that everyone seems to forget to talk about, so I'm bringing him up, is the inventor, played by Vincent Price. Yeah, it's Vincent Price, where'd you go wrong with that? But the reason why a lot of people leave this character out is, again, maybe because there wasn't too much flashbacks, and the fact that he didn't say very much, but, oh my god! Like, again, much like Johnny Depp's performance, so much comes through without saying anything, and it's like I think he only has like three or four lines in the entire film, and yet, like, the scenes where him and Edward are together, it's so good. Like, probably yeah, like that bit when and I'm not spoiling anything here, when the inventor dies and Edward's just left almost. He was so close, and like, you know, that even if I'm just watching it and I'm like, even if I just watch that one scene, that always gets to me, that always makes me cry, even if I'm just like watching that one scene, it always gets to me. I mean, well, I cry so much when I watch that movie, but, you know, but yeah, so much comes through, and like, yeah, just yeah, take notice of his performance. It's so good, and the relationship between the inventor and Edward is so good, and, you know, I love it. And yeah, pretty much. Okay, what was I gonna leave on to? Oh yes, I was gonna lead on to Suburbia. Oh my god. Okay, first of all, I love the fact that it was actually, most of it was on location in Tampa Bay, which, by the way, Tim I think he's already finished, filming there for a second time, so he's gone back to, I was very excited, I was like, yay, he's gone back to Tampa Bay. Last time he did that was okay. I got excited, I got all excited, but anyway, I loved that, you know, and this is kind of going against people's arguments. A lot of people, like, you know, they get, sometimes they try to put logic in this, and maybe because it is set in suburbia, we do have this kind of environment, like, in our world, in our reality, but at the same time, they over-romanticized it, you know, they made them give the pastel colors and things like that, and so, you know, so, for me, like, I always knew that I was heading into a fairy tale, for other reasons, you know, mainly because the main character, just the kind of story that they were telling, it just, like, yeah. But I love the fact that, at the same time, they are using an environment that is part of reality that, you know, we do get, and it sort of kind of mixes in, and it for me, it enhances the emotion of it. Now, this is sort of going from, you know, a lot of people thinking, you know, trying to think logical about some things. Now, like, I'm someone, when it comes to film, I am someone who operates on emotion. I care more about emotion than logic. I don't mind logical films, great, but if you don't have that emotional connection, you know, it always doesn't work for me. And so, so like when people, like the most common question I always get is, where the hell does Edward get all the ice? I don't freaking care! It's a beautiful scene! Who cares? You know, it's really beautiful. I don't fucking care. You know, and I think Tim was saying something like that, where it's a fairy tale. It doesn't really need to make sense, and so. And that came from the look of Edward, you know, the way he was created. Again, this is a movie that operates so much on emotion. You are gonna feel for this guy, and you are, yes, you so do. And you are just gonna get so emotionally invested into it. And, yeah, emotion is a huge part of this movie. And like, you know, Danny Elfman's score, again, he says that it's one of his most personal scores. Yeah. Like, you know, I remember just randomly listening to my iPod on shuffle, and the Ice Dance came on, and I started tearing, and like everyone was kind of looking at me like, Alex, are you okay? And I'm fine. I'm fine. But yeah, it's a wonderful score, and again, it just adds to the emotion again. I mean, that again, the Ice Dance, the scene where the inventor dies, the finale, it's just, oh my god, it's just so good. But at the same time, he does play it really comical. Like, I love, you know, the music when, you know, when Edward's giving everyone a haircut, or when, you know, he's sort of introduced to the neighborhood. That was all very nice. And so there was a bit of a mixture as well, and so it's one of his best scores, absolutely, like, up there, again. And so, again, it's one of those films that, it's one of those rare films, I find, that people don't just love, they fall in love with it. And I think it is one of those films that does that, and again, the emotion just really, you know, really gets to you. And so, you know, I still remember in Albert Hall, you know, when Edward Scissorhands came on, like, well, obviously I was going crazy, and everyone was just like, yes, we love you, you know, we love you so much, and it's like, yeah, you know, we love this movie so much, and you just, you know, you always kind of, again, this is one of the great things about Royal Albert Hall, is like, you get that sense that everyone is really listening, and it's just such a great feeling. And again, I'm gonna go on about it through the reviews, but that was just such an amazing night, because I felt like I was really a part of something. I was really a part of something, like, you know, after, because I was at the concert, like, a few years after I left school, and, like, you know, and finally socializing with people that love the same things that I do, it was just such an amazing feeling. You know, and so it was great. Even though I knew shit about them, it was like, you know what, we have a lot in common. We all love Tim Burton, we all love Danny Elfman, we love Edward Scissorhands, you know, it's just great. We love his films. You know, it's a really nice feeling. And again, this is really what makes people fall in love with the movie, is the fact that the emotion is basically about, you know, this is a character that really represents everyone. Everybody. I mean, you may act like you haven't felt these ways, but you have always felt somewhat cut off from people and feel misrepresented, or just judged on your appearance or something, and you just feel kind of, again, like I said, cut off or isolated, or kind of, you know, you want to be a part, you feel misunderstood, and you know, this is a feeling that affects everyone, and so that's why this movie gets to a lot of people, and that's why so many people absolutely love this movie, and it's my favorite movie for so many reasons, and it will probably still be my favorite movie for a very long time. So thank you for watching my review. Yeah, there's not that much, but I mean, I'm sure there is, but where is it going? Oh, okay. There is, obviously, I've got the normal DVD. I know there's a well, obviously there's a Blu-ray version, and I would like to say that I am very jealous of the ones who own the Blu-ray one because you guys have the Tim Burton commentary. I really want to listen to that, and like, I just don't own a Blu-ray, okay? Okay, I just don't. But yeah, obviously there's 2 DVDs. Other merchandise, the only ones that I have are this necklace. That's a black and white photo of Edward in it. I think you can see him. Then my friend Tash, actually, for Christmas, she bought me this necklace, and then she also bought this charm bracelet that has lots of things that connect to the movie. So, like, obviously a little pair of scissors, and oh my god, the castle and snowflakes, and oh, it's so cute. And then it's not exactly merchandise, but if anyone has the chance, there is a ballet version of the story, and for those of you who can remember, I did do a review on it. It's kind of half bad and half good. I think that if you're a fan, I think go check it out at least if you have the chance. While I do think that the film is like so much better, the choreography of this was brilliant. I think when they used like, you know, scenes that you recognize from the movie, and when they used Danny Elfman's score, you know, that's probably when it shines. When they used their subtle moments, that was probably the best. That was probably the best. I don't know. I think that's what I love about the movie, is just how much silence there was, which was probably why they chose ballet, because obviously that's silent, and you know, I think it would have been better than a musical or something like that. But anyway, so I'm not quite sure how to end this. Yes I do. Hold on a second. This could be an absolute failure, but I'm gonna give it a try. Just turn this thing on. I'm turning my heater on. Or like a fan heater or whatever. I hope you can still hear me! Okay, so basically in this bucket I have it's not real stuff. No, it's actually my business project. Well, my drafts, all the drafts that I had for my project, because I finally handed in the project, and it has been driving me insane. So I've basically taken, like, I don't know how many pages. I'd reckon like 25, maybe even more than that. Like, I have basically spent this is when I had a lot of free time. I just basically cut it into smithereens. Felt good. Felt really, really good. So with my heater, I'm gonna do something incredibly stupid, but let's just hope it works. Okay. So we might end it like the film with the snow. Oh gosh, I'm really nervous. Let's just hope it works. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Well, that was a fail. 1, 2, 3. Oh my god. Do you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna go crazy. This is gonna take me hours to clean it up. Okay. One last handful. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, it's gone down. Wait! I hope you enjoyed this review. Oh, I've still got a little bit more. Wait! Okay, I hope you enjoyed this review. I'm gonna spend most of my night now cleaning up this mess. Holy shit! It's gone down my... Okay, I will see you guys in the next review.